Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Want to welcome everyone. If this is your first time to Beth Israel, if this is your millionth time to Beth Israel, welcome. We're so glad to be together. Hine matovu manaim shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is for us to be together. We also want to welcome all of those who are joining us through the miracle of modern technology and our YouTube channel, equally as important. So if everyone could look in the back and wave a Shabbat Shalom to all those who are joining us virtually. Shabbat Shalom. We're so glad to have you with us. This Shabbat, I want to welcome us and introduce our candle blessing with a reading from a Siddur. It's a new Siddur, and it was the Siddur that we used when our Platt teens visited Beit Daniel in Tel Aviv, one of the first Reformed synagogues in all of Israel. And this new Siddur is an incredible example of the connection between American and worldwide Jewry and Israel. It was published last year, and it is in Hebrew and in English as well, so that visitors to their community would be able to participate fully. Our readings come from two places. One is Rabbi Leo Beck, and the second for our lights comes from Kibbutz Mabarot. The sanctity of Shabbat, mentally pausing and drawing a distinction, choosing the time, these rest in human hands, so that we may fill and actualize time and integrate holiness into it. These are blessings from on high. Thus the eternal soul enters the soul of earthly existence, the supernatural soul. So the Shabbat is a great liberation from predetermined fate and slavery, and becomes a victory over enslavement. This is why it is commanded to the master just as to the servant. Time, that end with no end, has now closure and renewal. Physical rest itself is crucial, but it is only in the victory of movements and time over humans. In contrast, the Shabbat of the soul is a declaration of the victory of humans over movement and time. For the honor of lighting our Shabbat candles, I want to invite a group of people who have no idea that I'm about to call them up, which makes it even more special. They're the people that help support those who are able to keep our congregation alive and thriving. So I'd like to invite all of the spouses and partners of those who currently or have previously served in synagogue leadership, on our board, or on our staff. So if all the spouses of synagogue leadership could please, spouses and partners, could please come up and do us the honor. Our candle blessing can be found on page 2 or on our screens.
Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר, להדליק נר של שבת.
I've never gotten so much awkward side-eye. We welcome Shabbat with the words of Kabbalat Shabbat as we greet the Shabbat. Page 3, Dodi Li.
דודי לי ואני לא הרואה בשושנים דודי לי ואני לא הרואה בשושנים
בזאת עולם מן המדבר בזאת עולם וכותרת מור לבנה
דודי לי ואני לא הרואה בשושנים דודי לי ואני לא הרואה בשושנים
דיברתי לי אחותי כלה דיברתי לי כלה דיברתי לי
אחותי כלה
דיברתי לי כלה
דודי לי ואני לא הרואה בשושנים דודי לי ואני לא הרואה בשושנים
אורי צפון ובואי תימן אורי צפון ובואי תימן
דודי לי ואני
20 Lechadodi. When we get to our last verse, you'll see we will rise and face our entrance as we greet the Sabbath bride. Until then, before then, after then, I hope you will join us as we sing together.
Dodi Mikrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Dodi Mikrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Ishmianu el hameyuchad Adonai echad U'shemo echad l'shem u'tiferet V'likvila lecha Dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Itoreri Ki ba'orech Kumiori Uri Shir daberi kevod Adonai Alayich nigla lecha Dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Boi v'shalom atzeret bala Gam b'simcha u'v'tzola Toch emunei am segula Boi chala lecha Dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela.
I invite you to turn to someone behind you, around you, next to you, say Shabbat Shalom. Those in our online community, send a note of Shabbat greetings in the chat, as I know you always do each and every week. As we turn towards our ark, towards Yerushalayim, we join together in our formal call to worship, page 146. Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
As we join together, page 147, we join responsibly. Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession.
and the
Years vanish, but your
sovereignty endures.
Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Haravim. In each age we receive and transmit Torah. At each moment we are addressed by the world. And together, in each age we are challenged by our ancient teaching.
In each
Moment we stand face to face
with truth.
In each age we add our wisdom to that which has gone before. At each moment the knowing heart is filled with wonder.
In each age, the children of Torah become its builders and seek to set the world firm on a foundation of truth.
Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Page 150, we join together in the Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meotecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha V'shinatam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shitecha b'veitecha, uv'lechtecha v'derech, u'shoftecha u'fumecha, u'shartam leot ayadecha, v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha, u'ktavtam amuzuzot beitecha, u'visharecha. Leman tizkeru v'asitem et ototai v'tem kedoshim leloechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti echem me'eretz Mitzrayim le'olahem Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. So I was thinking about the Michamocha this week. I was thinking back to a time a number of years ago. My son Ethan was probably about 9 or 10 years old at the time, and we were in this place called Mohunk, which is in New York, and it's a beautiful place and has lots of different hikes and trails. And they have an area called the Lemon Squeeze. And the Lemon Squeeze, as you can imagine, is a tight place. And the Lemon Squeeze is a place where you have to try to fit your whole body in and lift yourself up with your upper body weight in order to get onto the rocks that are very high up, let's just say. And he wasn't quite tall enough to reach the top of the rocks. And so I lifted him up, and in the midst of lifting him up, I herniated my C6 and C7. And it was a fun adventure from then on in. But it was an experience, and I tell you that because I realize that there are moments in our lives when we think that we have to heal and grow. And in that moment where I thought, oh, I'm in for it, I am in for it, I realized that it just takes the energy and the work and the footwork to create the healing. And part of me believes that's what the Israelites were also facing. They were facing a time where footwork was in front of them. They had no idea what was to be. But they knew that it was not just going to be a given that they would enter into freedom in the Midbar. They had to work through the Midbar for the next 40 years to attain their freedom to enter into the Promised Land. So whether or not it's recovering from injury, as I'm doing right now, whether it's a time in our lives when we think we're stuck, that lemon squeeze was tight, I'm telling you, it was tight. But it was also the expanse that we got to see, even in the pain that I was in the moment. It was majestic. And I can only imagine what the Israelites imagined when they were entering into that land to try to see what was possible, what was the potential. So the Milchamocha is about potential. And so we join together in understanding that from the tightness, the narrowness, comes our possibility for expansiveness. We join together, page 152 from Milchamocha.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, את השבת. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, את השבת. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, את השבת, את השבת, את השבת, את השבת.
We rise as we begin our Amida prayer, our silent prayer from the prayers of our heart or the prayers of the pages.
Adonai Sfatai Dita Adonai Sfatai Dita Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha Adonai Sfatai Tiftach Adonai Sfatai Tiftach Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha
We're taking a moment to reflect on those who are in need of a refuah shlema, recovery of mind, of body, of spirit. I think about the power of prayer often, and people come to me a lot and they ask, Rabbi, I offered prayers and my prayers were not answered. Well, prayer offers us, I believe, a capacity, a communal and individual capacity to believe. And it doesn't mean I don't believe God as a puppet master on high creating, but I believe that God creates this sense of communal connection that allows us to bring our prayers together, to ascend, that we can find the potential where our voices collectively bring about a sense of wholeness for each other. And it's not so much one central idea, but it's the connectedness of that idea as we come together to pray that helps people lift their spirits, that helps them in these moments that they are in need, that gives them the capacity, that gives them the resilience, the help, the support to move forward. So in our community, we're thinking of at this time, Ari Zaman Le ben Shoshana v'Moshe, Aviva Rivka bat Yonena, Lauren Berman, David Chapin, Madeline Flaster, Denise Garrick, Natalie Givon, Lee Goldberg, Sonia Grossberg, Ellen Hutt, Ruth Jordan, Richard Kitson, Rebecca Lahana, Roberta Lahana, Marshall J. Lewis, Marsha Lubick, Jim McIndoe, Lisa Nelson, Sharon Resnick, Sharon Ritter, Galina Robalchenko, Rosa Santiago, Ginny Schnitzer, Rhonda Schwartz, Nathan Silver, Howard Solomon, Bernard Stein, Robin Strickler, Seth Strickler, Lynn Slotkin, Cindy Spector, Gerald Trimble, Kathy Weil, John Weil, George Wise, and Susan Zale. If there is a name or names that you'd like to add, as my eyes meet yours, I invite you to share them with our community so that each of us can hold them collectively in our hearts as well. Shemerach.
Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
Shalom. In the run-up to the Passover story this Shabbat, we find ourselves in the Torah with God appearing to Moses and Aaron. Va'era, it is called, and I appeared. The essential text at the beginning of the portion, where we find the famous 4 expressions of redemption on which our rabbis base the mitzvah of drinking the 4 cups of wine at the Passover Seder. It begins with God speaking to Moses and saying to him, I am Adonai. I appeared to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob as El Shaddai, but I did not make myself known to them by my name, Adonai. I also established my covenant with them to give them the land of Canaan, the land in which they lived as sojourners, temporary residents. I have now heard the cries of the Israelites because the Egyptians are holding them in bondage, and I have remembered my covenant. Say therefore to the Israelite people, I am Adonai. Honesty. And here we find the 4 expressions of redemption. I will free you from the labors of the Egyptians and deliver you from bondage. 1. I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and through the extraordinary chastisements. 2. And I will take you to be my people, and I will be your God. And you shall know that I, Adonai, am your God, who freed you from the labors of the Egyptians. 3. And I will bring you into the land which I swore to give Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and I will give it to you for possession. I, Adonai. 4. L'chaim. In this parasha, as in other parshiot, God appears and speaks quite powerfully and deals directly with our ancestors. However, at some point, God ceases to appear or reveal God's self in our Bible. This is discussed by many scholars, one of whom is Professor Richard Elliott Friedman, formerly professor at UCSD and author of many books, including his own Torah commentary. Professor Friedman notes that the last person to whom God said is to have been revealed is the prophet Samuel. The last person to whom God is said to have appeared is King Solomon. Overall, God has been said to have appeared to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, Aaron, Joshua, the prophet Samuel, and Kings David and Solomon. God does speak again to the prophet Elijah with instruction for appointment of kings and a prophetic successor. And that, says Professor Friedman, is the last time in the Hebrew Bible's narrative that the text says, quote, "and God said," end quote, anything to anyone. I have been wondering, as many for a long time, why it is that God stopped speaking and appearing and revealing God's self in the Bible, and why it is that God is not doing the same things today. Surely there are leaders, prophets, kings who are worthy of help and conversation with God. The oft-times truth is when someone says God spoke to them, we give them that broadly defined term of crazy. We don't take them seriously unless to suggest therapy or the like. If we think about modernity, did anyone hear from God at the miraculous creation of the state of Israel? Or when the Yemenite and Ethiopian Jews were airlifted to Eretz Israel? Or when Soviet Jews were allowed to come out of Russia to the Holy Land? Where is God in the floods and fires that plague our world, in the wars being fought over throughout history and today as well, in the acts of terrorism and anti-Semitism that we encounter daily? As moderns, I'm really not sure what we need. I don't believe God acts in the world by either starting or stopping things like the Holocaust. We are, by our tradition, created by God and created in the image of God. And privately, I often pray that God will appear if the messianic era for which we hope is not forthcoming soon. As for myself, I see God in people's eyes, in their work, in births, in death, in nature, from rivers and oceans to the highest mountain peaks. However, if I am truthful, I once felt through music, and on this bima, what I sensed was God's presence. You may define this in the category of crazy or not, up to you. This happened while singing the prayer Kedusha, facing the ark, standing up on my toes, trying to reach upward with music surrounding me and the liturgy lifting me. I lost all sense of self and felt myself not on the bima. The presence of the rabbis beside me, the congregation behind me, the ark in front of me, all disappeared. And all that was left was a swirling sensation around me, music and words. An almost indescribable out-of-body experience without the benefit of drugs, held up by a presence never felt before or since to the same degree. And when the prayer had ended, I was shocked to see the ark before me, my colleagues beside me, and light streaming into the sanctuary. Va'era, and God appeared is the only way I could describe it. There was no revelation or speaking, but I am certain that God was there. Consider for a moment if you have felt something similar in your own lives, no matter how short or long, no matter how important or little the occasion. We have each been given one of the greatest miracles of all, the ability to be open to all possibilities. Our ancient biblical scribes are gone, and God has moved back in a matter of, it seemed soon, a kind of withdrawing. But we as a people, if we look to the prophecy of this Torah portion this week, number one, we have been freed. 2, we have been redeemed. 3, we are God's children. And 4, we, the people of Israel, are in the land promised to our ancestors. Va'era, Shabbat Shalom. I would like to invite Allison Prager up for some announcements.
Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It's my pleasure to be here tonight. I'm a member of your board of directors. As always, we want to thank the Men's Club and the Women of Beth Israel for ushering this evening. And while I know everybody knows that if you want to know any information about what's happening with our tremendous programming here, please visit our website. But I also just wanted to call your attention to tomorrow and invite everyone to join us in the Activity Center at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning for Torah study, and this followed by our weekly minyan service at 10:30 a.m. in the chapel. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. This week, We are announcing a new moon. Seems it happens often, at least 11, 12 times a year. Page 261. We are announcing the month of Shvat, the month that harbors the new year of the trees, and it begins on Monday. Won't you please join us?
May it be your will, God, my God, and God of my ancestors, that the coming month bring us peace, full life and blessing. May the promise of your new moon fill us with well-being. Guide us as we grow, making us complete. May it be your will, God, my God, and God of my ancestors, that the coming month bring us peace, full life and blessing. May the promise of your new moon fill us with well-being. Guide us as we grow, making us complete. מי שעשה ניסים לאבותינו, מי שעשה ניסים לאמותינו, מי שעשה ניסים לאבותינו, מי שעשה ניסים לאמותינו.
Rosh Chodesh Shvat yeh b'yom sheni. The new month of Shabbat begins on Monday. Won't you rise as we begin to conclude our service with Aleinu, page 282.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כאויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ואמר והיה אדוני למלך על
Please be seated. Turn to page 294. When we think about those who died this season in years past, and those whom we keep in our hearts with our own, when you hear the name of your loved ones, we invite you to rise so that we can comfort you as a community. And at home, please write names in the chat and share who those people were to you. I'm sad to announce the recent death of Mitchell Berner, who died on January 18th. He leaves behind his wife, Kelly, his father, Edgar, and Julie Berner, siblings Jessica and Jeff Friedman, Darren and Michael Lowenstein, Kevin Oksana Berner, and Tracy Cohen, grandmother Mary Binderman, and of Nona Ray Barth, mother of Alan and Nan Barth, and grandmother of Rebecca and Mark Garfinkel, and Benjamin and Shlomit Barth. We are in the period of Shiva, the 7 days after the burial, for Arlene Rawson. And we are in the period of Shloshim, 30 days after the burial, for Esther Lone, Carol Ann Levy, Ann Weinbaum, and John Kuhn. And we remember those who died at this time in years past. Marcel Abdulezer, Marcelino Aguilar Joke, Freya Bame Arthur, Adolf Asher, David Bartel, Joseph Behar, Martin Bennett, Ira L. Berkowitz, Solomon Blackman, Sandra Breslauer, Cindy Esther Cohen, Philip Cohn, Max Crane, Herbert Danziger, David Dent, Louis Deutsch, Elias Janjoli, Abigail Dubinsky, Irving Dukoff, Sidney Edelberg, Max Eldon, Harry Epstein, Carl Essenoff, Frida Nemitz Evans, Lucille Evans, Ann Finkel, Charlotte Fox, Samuel Fraser, Kitty Fronick, Jack Gard, Adeline Gendlar, Ruth Bobby Glass, Norman Gleichman, Jill Goldberg, Wolfie Gordon, Sally Gottlieb, Dorothy Green, Calvin Green, Josephine Vera Green, Gertrude Greenberg, Claire Gross, Helen Gross, Harold Grossman, Stephen Grossman, Gary Grossman, Rolf Haas, Herbert Hafter Sr., Judy Hames Trump, Barbara Haubenstock, Darlene Heinzman, Alfred Human, Betty Huberman, Jacob Horowitz, Michael D. Hughes, Lillian Cantor, Roberta Fassler-Katz, Albert Klug, Herbert Kraus, Julia Leonard, Naomi Levenstein, Maureen Janet Lewis, Ida Lichterman, Harry Mallon, Thomas Manis, Gregory Howard Miller, Philip Minnick, Bella Mishuk, Marcel Mueller, Ethel Neben, Rosara Nivera Panoni, Sidney Odelson, Isidore Offenberg, Jessica Perlman, Rose Ann Peters, Andrew Peterson, I. Pham, Morris Picus, David D. Pigeon, Shirley Podrup, Saul Popkin, Ruth Prigozhin, Marion Preisman, Maurice Prohlman, Molly Rabinowitz, Ruth Raskin, Leo Reich, Isidore Robin, Jeremiah Robbins, Judy Romaine, Gert Rosen, Clara Rosenfeld, Max Roelski, Hilda Rubin, Jacob Sharp, Ruth Rubin Schwartz, Philip Scheinberg, Marshall Shields, Ria Schindel, Salsi Siegelman, Abdallah Simon, Molly Slate, Maxine Schlesinger, Marcia Solomon, Jake Spritz, Oscar Stein, Phyllis Suchman, Blair Temkin, Max Trope, Vera Wagner, Judy Weber, Rosalind Weil, Joseph Weinberger, Jean Weissman, Jean Zigman, Leopold Zucker, and Louis Zweitak. Perhaps you've come to say Kaddish and I've not called a name. If you'll rise and share that name with us as I come around the congregation, you can share with us. We rise as a community and join together, Kadisha Tome 294. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayichon u'vyomechon, v'chayei d'chol Beit Israel, v'agala u'bizman kariv v'yimru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach, le'alam u'olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha rihu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiran b'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories always be for blessing.
Amen.
We join together in Oseh shalom. Please put your books down, put your arms around the people next to you that you love as we join together.
Shalom Nimroma, Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, Ve'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom Nimroma, Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, Ve'imru, Amen.
Please join us as we say Shabbat Shalom. Turn to one another, Shabbat Shalom. And we join together in the Motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.